Good morning.
It hasn't really hit us yet that we're heading back down south. Oh, I just got the most beautiful shot. Excuse me.
Hey, get out of it! Now we're having a few problems with some crew on this boat. Oh my god!
Stop it, paparazzi!
Oh, you're so beautiful.
There's a creep with something in his pocket.
Here they were.
Life isn't measured by the ticking of a clock or the passing of years. It's measured by moments, tiny, fleeting, and profound. Some stand tall, while others are quiet and unassuming, but together they form the mosaic of a life well lived. It's been 9 months since Josh and I left our home port in the northern rivers of New South Wales to seek out the muchness of a great beyond. Back then, we knew little about sailing, and even less about the depth of experiences it would bring us. For so long, we thought happiness was earned through money, achievements or accolades, things that can be measured or displayed. But we've learned the true richness of life comes from something much simpler. Syncing our own hearts with the pulse of nature, feeling its rhythms, connecting with its creatures, and breathing in the life force gifted by the trees and seas. There are moments when doubt creeps in, when we question whether selling everything to sail the east coast of Australia and eventually the world was the right choice. After all, this journey demands time, all of our time really. But then the ocean reminds us of a truth we too often forget. Humans are the only creatures burdened by the fear of time slipping away. The rest of the natural world simply is fully present in each passing second. What matters more than marking time is being present for those tiny, sacred moments that fill it. Now, as we turn southward to begin the slow journey back to the northern rivers, we're reminded that speed is irrelevant. Sure, we could drive or fly and get there in days, but that would mean missing out on the moments. The sunrise on a still horizon, our laughter carried on the wind, and the quiet of the stars above. The destination, it's insignificant if the journey isn't savoured. Because in the end, life isn't about how much time we have. It's about how deeply we live within the moments that we're given.
A few hours sleep. Phoebe's still resting, but I know the feeling of getting up way too early after not getting enough sleep, so I'm just leaving her there doing that. We're a little bit disappointed to be leaving Cape Upstart. This is a ridiculously beautiful place. Got to keep moving. Oh, just had our first kicks of sunlight. Today's gonna be so epic. Wow, another amazing day. So stoked on this weather. Let's get this mainsail up. As soon as we've come around the point, I've got that main up and we're getting probably about 8 knots at the moment. If this consists throughout the day, it's going to be a really good day of sailing. I'm probably going to get the heady up pretty soon. And one of those is our mate Brett, I think. So we'll be able to wave to him as he goes past. And I'm just marvelling at this landscape of Cape Upstart. So good morning so far. The heady is up. Been able to reduce throttle a little bit, which is nice. So the wind's coming over our port side there, over the bow. So yeah, we're kind of close hauled, but a little bit off. Still run the motor, but once we kind of get around this point here, we can hook back in again, continuing more to the south. So we'll be able to maybe use a bit more of the wind straight on the beam, and we might even be able to knock that motor off, because there's much more wind now than there ever was yesterday. And would you believe it, here's Brett on Lizzie Rose, heading south all the way from Lizard Island. Now we're having a few problems with some crew on this boat. They've decided to just wear lingerie around, and it's just completely distracting me. I'm sailing.
I'm a free woman, it's free country! And I miss Brett, so I'm kicking myself out.
I'm sure Brett's kicking himself over if he knew you.
But Brett took the most beautiful photo of Innerbloom under sail with him inserted here.
Beautiful photo.
It's nice, isn't it?
Love that photo.
So it hasn't really hit us yet that we're heading back down south. Feels a bit sad, to be honest.
Hit me like a ton of bricks.
It's so weird to think that we were just down there and then we had to catch transport up just to do it all the way back down, but just slower. But this
way more enjoyable.
This form of transport is way more enjoyable, exactly. Josh is well into his Ken Follett book. He's on the 3rd book of the trilogy now. He's great. If you like historical fiction and enthralling novels about love, revenge, war, betrayal,
we also
watch The Princess Bride and then also read that book.
we also must advise you that this is a paid promotion by Ken. Got in contact with us and said, "Can you give me a shout out?"
I wish, Kenny,
I'll send
please.
you a second-hand copy of my book that I picked up at Vinnie's for $2.
I knew that Josh caught a fish when I saw him yesterday because I was like, is that blood? I was like, is that blood on your shirt? And he's like, yeah, I caught a fish. And I was like, oh, okay. What kind of fish did you catch? And he's like, caught a tuna. He's so cool about it. So cool. I catch fish all the time. You should get used to this.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I said. This is going to be an indication of our southward passage home and what it's going to be like. Lots of fish.
Law's going out.
Uh-oh.
Law's got a tangle.
I got a bad tangle.
He's got a really bad tangle in the braid. Oh no. It's alright, I got the helm, don't worry. Something that I'm really looking forward to on this long passage home though is really upskilling my knowledge and experience with sailing. Josh is such an incredible and capable captain with the limited time that he's been doing it, but he's also really good at absorbing information really well. Reading or watching videos or listening to things, I'm not the same. I think it's a kinetic learner where you learn by doing, and I haven't had too many opportunities. Hold on, pause.
I overspooled the reel. Oh, I'm so actually upset about this. I just rigged this up.
Oh,
It took,
baby.
actually took like a whole day.
Oh, babe.
Far out, man.
I retain terminology. That's like easy for me. I know the names of things around the boat and sailing terminology, but it's really hard for me to put the actual practice of sailing into place and like put it into my brain. Really looking forward to being super present with how the boat is sailing, observing change in wind direction, because when we've been sailing, any time that the boat is calm enough, I'm down there editing, and that's great because it means that we can put these videos out, and if I don't do that then we can get weeks behind, but that does mean sacrificing time sailing. And when we get to an anchorage and we're in a beautiful place and we've got, you know, an abandoned resort or things to do, mountains to climb, I'm gonna prefer to do that for my mind, body and soul rather than sitting inside and editing. Like, this is what we're doing it for, is to sail, and I'm just so lucky that Josh is so capable. I don't want to just solely rely on him to get us, you know, to get us places safely. I really want to be more than adequate because we're doing this together, and I also want him to know that he can trust me, and that if something goes wrong, if he's sick or if he gets injured, that I'm like, I got you, you go down, you know, I got you sorted, whereas I don't feel 100% confident in that just yet.
The wind swung around to the northwest as we came around Cape Upstart, and now it's pretty much dropped right out just as soon as I'd made my little breakfast. Our heady was rubbing on the spreaders, so I've just dropped it down. I'm just going to tidy it all up. That's all right, we've got plenty of time.
Two favorite ladies have breakfast.
The wind seems to have shown up again. Let's get this heady up. Temperamental wind, but when the wind was blowing, it will make quite a difference. And it's coming at an angle, so I don't have to have it so close that it will constantly rub against the shrouds on the spreaders. So hopefully it'll work out. So been a marvelous day. Unfortunately, we got the tides against us coming in, which meant a little bit of a slower than we were expecting course, but anyway, that's all right. And yeah, Phoebe's here with me.
Hello.
Wrapping up what will be, by the time we arrive, 13 hours of sailing today. But
Motor sailing.
Yeah, motor sailing all day. Chewing gas.
So we've spent the morning refilling on water, giving the boat a wash down, taking advantage of the last little bit of internet that we've got, and we're heading out of the Coral Sea Marina for the last time this season.
True.
So weird to be here again.
That is actually very true.
A lot less busy than it was last time we were here, obviously, because everyone's either up at Lizard or heading south already. Last night when we walked into town to go reprovision, we were looking out in the bay and it was like a sad blanket of stars, whereas when we were here last time it was like, wow, you can't tell the difference between mast lights and stars, and you could definitely see the mast lights because it was like 4. Hardly anyone.
Far out. Which makes a lot of sense.
We also, when we filled the boat with water, we also changed a few things around. When we've diverted the valves so that now we're drawing from the forward tank rather than the bladder underneath the floorboards in the galley. So that'll take all of the water and the heaviness out of the bow, which will hopefully make for a more comfortable sail. So we'll see if that makes a difference, because we've got 140 litres in the bow.
Well, this is the beginning. It's 8:30 a.m. and we're leaving Early Beach. So realistically, it's 24 and 1 hours to Percy, Middle Percy. So make sure we have the boat set up nice and comfy and just make it really cruisy. That's what it's all about. I think in the past I've been a little bit too tired to go and do sail changes and set it up the way it should be set up and kind of just push through the uncomfortableness. Whereas now I think I really want to try and get the boat balanced really nicely.
Yeah.
Reef down early, and just as long as we're still making good speed and we're moving through the sea state and everything okay, then
Just sailing well.
yeah, sailing well, for sure.
And also you're far more confident in yourself than you were when you were on your way up here, so. And it was also really nice to have some time away from the boat and away from each other for that little week, because we hadn't had a day apart in the 8 months that we've been sailing. So it's actually been a really nice little refresher for our relationship. It feels so fresh and vibrant, and we've just had so much fun together over the past couple of days, even though we've been super tired. So yeah, it's just amazing how that little time away can really reignite the passion between us and you know, why we're doing this. 'Cause that's what it's all about. We're having fun.
Amen, sister. Between Hook Island, down the Whitsunday Passage, Mole Island, down the Whitsunday Passage, and then we'll be going around the top of Hamilton Island, and luckily we're getting all the right tidal motion here.
Which will carry down, because the tide, that's something else that
we talked about.
Yeah, is that the tides here are a little bit different. It's so weird to get our head around, but we're used to when the tide goes in, it comes up from the south, and then when it goes down, it ebbs south. But here in the Whitsundays,
oh yeah, sorry.
Here in the Whitsundays, the tide floods south and then it ebbs north. So we're actually going to be carrying the incoming tide south, which will hopefully get us an extra knot or two, which will help us along our way, because we're not a lot of wind just yet. Not until we come really out of this area and we come a little bit more outside the side of shore. So we'll get more of that easterly wind, which will carry all the way down to Percy.
Phoebe's down below making food because we haven't had anything to eat yet today, but I just got the head sail, full head sail and full main up, and as we're carrying the tide, we're cruising along at a comfortable, right now, 6 knots. So that's fantastic. We're going to knock this motor off and just enjoy being under sail for a little bit.
I'm not really good at cooking with eggs yet.
Say it again.
I don't really have a lot of experience with cooking with eggs just yet, because I haven't cooked with them a lot. So yeah, my omelets aren't all that good, but I hope it tastes good.
Really good.
Tuna from a bag.
Oh, I love tuna in a bag.
Cheers.
Cheers.
No, it's beautiful. Thank you, fish. Got a bit of a country boy spread going on there.
Oh, it's kind of nice.
Rani, Josh's mum gave me this hat.
Shout outs, mum.
Thanks, Rani. It's my first like country girl hat. If it hadn't been for Cotton Eye Joe, I'd been married a long time ago.
So we've gone through the very narrow section on the northern side of Hamilton Island. We killed the motor and now we've got the head sail back up and we're going to tack our way out of the Whitsundays and get on going. All right, are you ready?
We're ready.
Ready about?
Ready about. Josh is going to do this tack so that I can film it.
Whoopsie daisies. How shocking is that?
At least it's not on camera.
Oh my god.
Look, helicopter's coming to get ya.
They're arresting me for the worst.
Oh, there it is. He's here! Come get him! No. Telltales are streaming up.
They're lifting?
Yeah. We're 7 hours into our passage. We're on the outside of Mayor Island right now. And now that we're out of this kind of sheltered area with all these surrounding islands, we've got a much better point of sail. So we've just turned the motor off and we're just going to observe how the boat is sailing now that we're a bit more exposed to that easterly wind. It's a close hold.
Close hold, pretty much.
Close hold, kind of on the beam, not really, no, it's a close hold. Before we were motoring with 5.5, 6 knots, and now we've got the motor off and it's 4.5, 5. So I'm about an hour into my shift. Josh is still sleeping. I think he'll probably sleep for the rest of the afternoon, hopefully. The fact that he hasn't popped his head out is a good thing because usually he can hear if when I'm at the helm and the head sail starts to luff up, he'll come out and be like, "Are you okay? What's going on?" And he hasn't come out yet, so that's a really good sign. I think I'm sailing pretty well. Navionics keeps quitting on me, so I can't see like the lead of where I'm going, but that's okay because I know that I'm sailing about 115 degrees, so as long as I keep that on my compass, I should be pretty sweet. I'm barely even having to helm. The sails are trimmed so perfectly. The telltales are streaming back. I'll show you. And it's a really balanced helm, so I'm not even really having to make any adjustments really, just keeping my hand on the helm and just making sure that it's on course. But something that we'll have to address once we get back to port and living in a home and kind of have a bit of time to dedicate to boat admin. On the leech I think, that's the leech of the sail. You can see that that edge is all torn, and it's from when the sail luffs up and it gets caught on that piece of pipe that's in the shrouds. So that's really not good. In my true style, I've been listening to dirty deep house music and it's getting me so pumped. But I'm having to stop listening to the music every once in a while and just make sure the high level bilge alarm isn't going off and just, yeah, keeping an ear out. Well, he's awake an hour later. Didn't get to sleep for as long as he was hoping, but that's okay because he can take the helm while I go down and make dinner before it gets too dark. We're going 4.5 knots now. What did you do, magic man?
No, I just did a little walk around of the boat and I found that the foot of our sail was
it the way that was hanked on?
Yeah, it wasn't the way it was hanged on, it was the way that it was attached to a shackle, and the shackle was caught down in the bow roller and unable to come upright. So the sail was actually lower by about like that much than normal. Which I don't know if that makes a difference to have the wind be able to go under the sail or anything like that. But
Well, it must have. We can see it clearly because, oh, what the heck? Because
better,
we're going forward now.
bit of a better sail
And
shape.
you're in the exact same, where's the indicator? Yeah. Same point of sail that I was.
The good thing is the boat's actually really well
It's so balanced. I know. I barely even had to touch it.
Like you could almost not have to touch anything. Started the motor because we were doing around between 2.5 and 3 knots for a good 5-10 minutes there, and that's not okay. That means that we can have the auto helm on, which is great. The wind is shifting around quite a bit and it's fairly light, so the autopilot wouldn't have been any good to us as it doesn't go off the wind, it goes off its internal compass, its flux gate compass. So with the wind shifting around, we would have constantly fallen on and off the wind and been going really slow. So another good thing about having put the autopilot on is that putting the motor on is that we can trawl now because we're going fast enough. So I've chucked a lure out there. 2 rods out now. This is a great time to be doing it because it's sort of coming into the hour of fish feeding.
Trying to work out if we're gonna put any reefs in the main for the sun goes down. It's forecasted to get 15 to... I'm trying to talk here, dude. Get your shit together. Thank you. It's forecasted to get to 15 to 17 knots, which is like great, girl, which is great sailing for us, especially if it's going to be on the beam. But the only thing is that if the wind does get too strong, it's a bit gnarly putting reefs in that late at night. We've got our harnesses and our lifelines rigged up, ready for the evening anyway. We've been sailing, you know, a knot and a half, 2 knots under than what we were estimated to. So instead of our arrival time being 8 a.m. to 9 a.m, it's now just after 12. It's kind of like, do we just charge it and take advantage of that extra speed without any reefs in the main, or do we play it safe, put 2 reefs in or a reef in?
From midnight to 3 a.m, it's going to be between 15 and 16 knots for 2 hours, and then at 3 a.m. it starts easing again. 14, 4 a.m, 13 knots, 5 a.m, 13 knots.
Yeah, well, it was forecasted to be 15 knots today and it wasn't. So it's kind of like if we put any reefs in and then we're, you know, depowering the boat when we really could use it as an opportunity to catch up on the lost ground. But ultimately, it's all well and good to say these things while the sun's up. We might feel a lot differently once we're a little bit sleepy.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, we definitely should reef down before the night, but
Okay.
we're gonna be losing a lot of potential to make way under
I know.
a little bit of wind. So.
I know. But also, you haven't had a lot of sleep. I haven't had a nap today.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like we're not really prepared for some gnarly sailing. The good thing is if we put the reefs in now while it's light, we can just take them out if it's pretty calm and we want that extra speed. You'd feel a lot safer.
Yeah, I'd probably be a bit concerned if we hadn't reefed.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Experienced sailors are probably watching this and being like, reef down.
Which we're gonna reef down.
We're gonna do it, okay. And then maybe there's experienced sailors being like, don't do it. That's what sailing's all about. Charge it. We still got our L plates on this season, folks, so we're gonna play it safe. Well, let's finish our cacao first, babe. It only takes 5 minutes.
At least I can do that and observe how it is while we're sailing.
Yeah, okay, all right. See, this is why he's captain. Like it? Yeah, that's super taut.
Yeah. I think I gotta loosen that bit actually.
So we're 25 mile off mainland
We haven't had reception like all day. And Josh goes, hey, how you doing? And I was like, who is this man talking to? This fella called Shell, who we met, him and his wife, we met him at Horseshoe Bay. And they also have a sailboat down in Victoria, and he's this beautiful big Swedish man with this gorgeous beard, and he also works with fiberglass. So he gave us some really good tips about fiberglassing and fabricating some chairs for our porter boat. We told him that we put 2 reefs in the main. He was like, he shook his head and he said, that's a great idea. He said, you're cruising, you're not racing. Boats that don't get flogged last a very long time. They last a lifetime. So he said, just take it at an easy pace, get through the night. And then he also gave us some really good tips with our auto helm, because we've got the auto helm going at the moment, which we can use when we've got the motor going, and we've got a bit more steerage and power from that. But as soon as we turn that off, you know the deal, it just overcorrects and does all heaps of funky stuff. So he told us that in order to kind of control that a little bit, we can just let out a bit of the main sheet, let the main luff a little bit, same with the head. Let out a little bit of the sheet, let it luff, and then slowly pull it back in and see how the auto helm performs or behaves after that.
Shell bought his boat in, I think it was Guatemala, and sailed it back across the world with a few different crew along the way. And it was down in Melbourne, and when they moved up to Maggie, he sailed it up to Magnetic Island. Wonderfully practical man, and very kind and
very knowledgeable.
Humongous heart. So it's nice to have all these people we meet along the way that are invested in us and our journey and our adventures, and just want to provide knowledge and insight into it.
Hello, it's 10 p.m. Wind's definitely built. But Josh said he'd feel more comfortable with leaving the auto helm on, or leaving the motor on, because it means we can leave the auto helm on. And he's actually dropped a pin for me on Navionics right before we cross the shipping lane. He wants me to wake him up so that he can be out here when we cross the shipping lane together, because we don't have AIS on this boat. The auto helm will kind of go off course a little bit. The head sail will luff, and then again that corner is hitting the shrouds, but then the auto helm seems to correct itself after about 30 seconds of luffing. So there's that sail luffing again. Luffing of the head sail though is really confusing, and Josh told me that it's been doing this and it will continue to do this as the wind builds, but I just can't see how it's okay for the sail, and I don't really know what to do. The telltales are streaming up, and I can't remember what streaming up means. I think that's the car needs to come, the car where the jib sheets run through needs to come further aft. Josh just came out and he heard me loosen the jib sheet, and then he came out, he was like, are you okay? The wind has changed direction, it's got a bit more south in it now. But the first thing he did was let out a bit of the main sheet, which was going to depower the boat a little bit because it was picking up, and we were getting up to 6 knots at some point, and we were only doing 4.5 or 5 when I came out here, so I didn't really feel comfortable with the boat being that fast without him here. Now we're just observing.
Main sheet at all?
No, I didn't even touch the main sheet. That was the first thing that I should have done, hey? So yeah, we're on this course at the moment, which is well off where we want to go, but this is just where the boat wants to sail. This is our best point of sail. So Josh said that we've still got another 12 hours until we reach our destination, so a lot can happen in between here, and we're gonna have to be tacking into the wind, the direction that the wind's coming from. But yeah, as Josh said, a lot can change in that time, so it's really uncomfortable, and he can't remember whether the tide floods south or north at this point, but it could be wind against tide. But so we've got Scorefell to our left right now, off our port. It's 5 mile away. Yeah. We're just considering, now that the wind's swung and our point of sail has changed, and it's going to really affect us. Yeah, it's going to really affect us tomorrow. We're considering actually dropping anchor in Scorefell tonight.
I think as the wind's going to increase, it's 11:30 right now. The wind's going to be increasing consistently from 12 through till 3 a.m. It's going to be up around 15, 16 knots, probably gusting a little bit more out here.
It was already 15 knots earlier tonight, babe.
You were measuring it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's okay because we're reefed down and it's all good, but
Yeah.
the sea state is going to increase. We're not actually on our correct point of sail at the moment, and we're still having a motor.
Yeah.
So realistically, if we go and drop anchor, let this build and then blow itself down, we're not going to be any further behind. We're 50 miles from where we want to be, and we can just do that in the daylight tomorrow. If we're motoring now, it doesn't matter if we're motored then. We just arrive there 10 hours later. It's really actually not that bad.
Yeah.
So I think that would be a safer, better option for us. This is going to be the more challenging leg of the passage.
Yeah. And could you just zoom in on Scorefell? And the anchorage is completely protected from this wind and swell.
Yeah. But we need to make the call now if we're going to do that, because we need to alter our course and go there.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I'm making the call. You only had 40 minutes sleep.
Okay, so that's what we're going to do?
Yeah.
Because we'll just do that.
Let's do it. Okay.
Hold that. And don't let go of it. Don't do anything but hold that for me, okay? Yeah?
Yeah.
Alright, don't let go of it. Alright, I'm pulling this main in.
Yeah.
Right, you ready about?
Yep. Ready about.
You don't need to do anything but hold that, Phoebe.
Okay.
I've got this, babe.
Oh,
You're just not listening
Josh,
to me.
you didn't tell me you were going to do
I've got
the
this.
port
All I want you to do is hold that.
Okay.
Okay. So don't take it off the block until I let you know. Okay. Right, throw it round. Get it on. Good work, babe. Great work. Right, I'm gonna luff so you can bring that in.
Yep.
Ready? Wait till I luff.
Yep.
Okay, that's good there. I'm really happy with our decision and also just how we've gone today. I think we should be proud of ourselves. Even though we had the motor on, we set the boat up really well. We did our shifts really well. We worked together as a team fantastically. We communicated probably the best we've ever communicated on passage. And for us to be here where we had the potential to pull off and where we always planned that this was going to be our fallback, and to discuss and for the wind to have changed direction
right before,
in that hour around there, we've made a really great, wise decision, I believe personally, to not fight against the elements. Like, we were always going to be pushing it to get home, but we didn't say we were going to punch into anything, and we're certainly not going to do the only punching into weather that we've done in the most wind that there's going to be over the next 24-hour period, and the tightest we've been in the middle of the night. So this is a really great, safe option for us. We can go there, sleep through till 6 or something like that, and just reassess. I think the winds will be much calmer by then, so we can just get back out there, and if the conditions are the same, then at least we're doing it in the daylight and we can work with it.
Yeah.
But doing it at night is just so much more challenging.
Especially in these conditions, and for the sake of getting there 6 hours earlier.
We probably wouldn't even get there 6 hours early because the boat speed was much slower.
Yeah, and we wouldn't have any energy to do anything with the daylight anyway.
Exactly. Ever since we've tacked now and continued to the northwestern edge of Scorefell, we've got the swell on the beam. We're still pretty much close hauled, but it's such a comfortable sail now because we're going up and down with the swell.
Yeah.
We're spilling a fair bit of air off the main, whereas before we were taking the swell bow to stern, so we're seesawing a lot more, and that was causing the boat to slow down heaps, and then as it was slowing down it was luffing, and yeah, that's why Phoebe was sitting out here trying to adjust things and figure out what was going on, but she was doing pretty much everything she could and surmised everything perfectly until I came out here and said, righto, well, this is our options, and what do you think? And together we made the right call. High five.
High five.
Love you.
I love you. Yep. Just set an anchor danger alarm in case, because there's heaps of fringing reef around here, so for whatever reason we come off. So we arrived at 1:43. Wait, 12:43. Feels like 1:43. Super grateful that we got a mooring ball. Anchoring in these parts at night time is a bit scary.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us. I know it was a really long one, but that's just sailing in its essence, isn't it? And if we didn't include all these mistakes and working it out, how would we be able to look back on these old videos and shake our heads at ourselves? Next week, we're doing the same thing, continuing southward, learning from our Sailing Essentials book and working out how best to sail this 12-ton boat. We'll see you then.